All right. So he amassed a whopping 8,000 views in 11 months. Connor Klein. Let's see. Is this going to get as cringe as I think it is?
Privyet and greetings from amazing Almaty in the south. And recently I came across GeoMax, which basically means moving to a foreign country, your chance on the dating market. Now, I've been advocating for 3 to 12 per year to countries in Eastern Europe, and yes, Stan as Eastern Europe, although as close to Beijing as it is to and let's get into the video and examine whether it's just that simple, moving country to a place like Kazakhstan, and by the end of the weekend, we'll have a Kazakh model on your arm. Or is there more to it? Поехали.
SAR experience.
What the
We got the incredible in Almaty today, phenomenal. So a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from a marketer and solicited basically what he was that I should say in my content that Western women are basically garbage, that it's all over. You know, you need to escape the West, all those terrible Western feminazis. There's no hope for men anymore. If it were simply just like that, you just had to buy a one-way ticket to Riga or to Chisinau or to Moscow or here Almaty, then that would be the end of the video. Obviously, number one, buy a ticket. And number two, it wouldn't be true. Getting on a plane and going to another country is not a panacea. It's not a silver bullet that all your problems are going to be solved. And number three, I guess, is that if you've got that negative attitude that it's all the Western women's fault and I just need to go to a country somewhere else and everything is going to be resolved, not dealing with the core issues about your perceived values. That's not what I'm going to be saying in today's video. I think if you have that mindset, probably you're 30 years too late to come to Eastern Europe and actually succeed. Probably better off finding a small island, remote island in the Philippines. I believe maybe you still have a chance there. So definitely not a panacea just to jump on a plane and come to beautiful Almaty for the women. But as you see, it's pretty nice weather here at the moment.
So far, so good.
So the reason that I'm in Almaty at the moment is I'm here with an in-person client living the SAR experience, and we have chosen Almaty. If you're interested in having an unforgettable weekend in Eastern Europe, have been recently with clients in Chisinau, Moldova, here in Kazakhstan, perhaps going to...
Hey everyone, if you have a minute, please head over to legionofmen.store and grab yourself some cool merch as well. We have a bunch of limited edition designs, brand new stuff on the way, and all the proceeds go to supporting the channel. We don't want to be sponsored by corporations where we have to submit videos for review, have our speech impeded, or push any products that we don't use. So thank you so much to everybody that goes into the shop. Again, it's legionofmen.store. I'll put it up here for you guys. First time customers get a 10% off, and we have a bunch of great designs by artists from the community that watch the channel and support. They get proceeds as well, a percentage of everything that gets sold. So community funded through and through. Again, appreciate you guys. Let's continue.
Kazakhstan is not Eastern Europe. I don't know why he went with that one.
Riga in Latvia very soon. Then there's an application form in the video description to this video. But first, please watch this video. It's up in the card down below. Also, description. Kharkiv in Ukraine, where I filmed living this SAR experience with my clients last year. So I'll get to the crux of the video. In my opinion, if you know what you're doing and you move to Eastern Europe for at least 3 months a year, so you're not coming as a tourist for a weekend, you can jump up, we'll say, 2 points in that scale that a lot of guys are going to understand, which is 1 to 10, normally in terms of looks, but in how they rank girls, right? So if you were a guy and you're an average Joe and you're used to getting a 5 back home, then yeah, knowing what you're doing and moving here to Eastern Europe, you could date a 7. And if you're getting the 7 and 8s back home, then yes, you could come to Eastern Europe with the right plan, and then could date 9s and 10s. So
there's a lot of variability in that. I can tell you right now, if you go to big cities in Eastern Europe, which is where you're going to end up going, because no one's going to live in the middle of fucking nowhere in Eastern Europe. Not even Eastern Europeans want to live in the countryside away from it all. You're going to be losing a ton of infrastructure and amenities that you're used to. But in the bigger cities, you will not be doing better. I'm going to tell you right now, the competition is insane. First, it's not like the Gambia video we watched. People are earning a decent amount of money. You as a foreigner have to compete against already a bunch of foreigners living there and doing well. But the mentality they have is ultra traditional in the sense that you're going to get eaten alive off of your ability to provide. Some passport bros are going for financial freedom. Eastern Europe is like the wrong place to do it. You can get more bang out of your buck in Southeast Asia. Others that are literally traveling for women, which is already the incorrect way to do this, will be let down when they go to Eastern Europe and see that no women's going to talk to them, because the things that made you attractive in America make you even more unattractive in Europe. Eastern European women are very strong-minded and will deconstruct a man like no other woman. Latinas come in like second place. If you've never led a household, if you let a woman talk down on you, if you're not competent in a lot of things, if you don't have your life together, you are not going to be doing well in Eastern Europe. It's rough for you. If you're hardly a man, you will get exposed much faster in Eastern Europe. One of the very first things they ask, or that they will ask, is, what do you do for a living? How much do you make? What are your plans for the future? Straight away, you're going to get filtered for husband material off the bat, first date. Now, if you go into the nightclubs, like he was showing earlier from whatever his travels were, you're going to get the completely wrong side of the women. That's where you're going to meet these chicks that are professionals, because prostitution is massive in Eastern Europe. The average girl is already like 3-4 points higher than the average Western woman. It's true. Beauty is abundant in Eastern Europe. Salaries are low. Therefore, they can turn to those kind of industries easily. And for you to come over to Eastern Europe and buy your way into that experience, super easy if you have the money. But if you're trying to come relocate, start a family, live a traditional lifestyle, and you're fat, you're fucking balding, you don't take care of your body, teeth are messed up, you're not going to have much of a chance. I live in Bucharest. I live in one of the richest neighborhoods there. And when you see all the beautiful young women gathering to all the best restaurants and stuff, dressed to the nines, blows away models in America. Like, the men that are usually on their arm are very well off. The parking lots are filled with exotic cars, high-end stuff. They're wearing clothes, bags that are costing more than your salary. It's normal. This idea that you could get a 9 or a 10 in Eastern Europe without having 7-8 figure pockets is a joke. You would literally have to find a diamond in the rough in the countryside, milking cows for a fucking living with grandma and tilling the land, and just happens to look like a supermodel for you to get that. Other than that, you're priced out the market, buddy. Sorry. But you don't pull up to that in a Lamborghini Urus to the restaurant, your girl will not look like she belongs in the Lamborghini. It is what it is. This is just the natural competition. It's known worldwide that Eastern European women are beautiful, and especially where they concentrate in the capitals, money concentrates there. So you're being sold a dream. If you think you're just going to get a 9/10 honey by going to Eastern Europe, I can tell you right now, I know a bunch of Americans that I've met that have went to Eastern Europe in Bucharest. They can't get any matches. They can't get any dates. They're struggling with normal chicks, which is far hotter than what you could get in, the West. But from what the Romanian women have told me is these are temporary stopgaps. They're using these guys for their money, and then they'll eventually marry someone closer to their culture. They have no intention of staying with these guys. They just want to be shown around, taken to the nice restaurants, having fun. That's the reality of the situation, man. You cannot negotiate attraction. It helps you to, quote, geomax when you're actually different from the local population. If you're a white man coming to Eastern Europe, sorry, bro, you blend in. There's nothing different. There's nothing exciting about you. You actually lose points because you're directly competing with the native population. If you go to Southeast Asia and you're not in the best shape and you're not whatever, then you'll stand out simply for being different than everybody else. It's the exoticism. Remember when you went to school and there was that foreign girl in your class? What made her attractive? The fact that she was foreign. What made the foreign guy attractive for the women listening? Because he was different. Completely different language. Hearing someone speak a different language just makes them more attractive to you. An accent to make someone more attractive to you. That same effect applies when you go overseas. This is why I constantly preach to guys, if you're going to go overseas, do it for money, for finances, for a better life, so you could retire early, not be a slave, a wage cuck, working until you're goddamn 67, 68 years old, only to retire and have 5 years of pension before you keel over and die. The point of going to these countries is buying an affordable place so you don't have to worry about a mortgage anymore. Then you can enjoy and live your life. That's when women start to come into your life, and now it's the cherry on top. You happen to have a woman while being financially free, which is the best setup to have, because now you could actually enjoy your time together instead of working like a fucking slave, worrying about how many times you get to go to dinner. You could just go whenever you want now, spend the money you want to spend, live the life you want to live, and adequately provide for your partner. If you're just going overseas to get laid, bro, I telling you guys, you don't have to look further than the West. Go to any bar, any club, and you could get any floozy off the streets. The best hookup culture is literally the West. You're leaving the cradle of wholeness. It makes no sense. And then these guys are talking about, I want a traditional woman. And they go into nightclubs and party and show videos of hoes on their fucking dinky boats in all these foreign countries. What are you doing, dude?
So that is what I see. The days of flying in with a marriage agency and being wife hunter Harry and been used to getting 2s and 3s back home, then leaving with a 9 from Odessa mama. Maybe that really happened back in the early 90s, but this is 2022. That ain't happening. Let's be frank about it. So yeah, 2 points what I think, and even though I don't really like that scale so much, but just easy for guys to understand what I mean. Yeah, you can do significantly better with the right plan.
Wrong place, you see? This, going to the club, that's exactly those kind of women you'll get that'll use you.
A photo once of his cousin who was getting married in Kiev, and there was another guy who was there from the West. I don't remember his nationality, but my friend Dave described him as an average Joe, basically. He looks like a 5 back home, and he was with this Ukrainian stunner who was his girlfriend in Kiev. So this guy had actually jumped up 4 points. This is about at least 10 years ago. And what was he doing in Kiev? He was an English teacher. So, you know, something that's a little bit of a journeyman's job, not knocking it to make cash when you're traveling in places, because obviously English is in high demand, being the global lingua franca. But according to my friend, and I kind of concord looking at the photo, there was nothing above average about this guy, but he did have above average, superiorly above average girlfriend. That ain't happening anymore. So what have my clients done that have succeeded the most here in Eastern Europe, the guys who were able to get the 9s and 10s? Now, my experience with those clients was that actually back home, before they came to Eastern Europe, they were able to get at least 7s and 8s.
And that's the truth. There's the truth in the entire video. If you can't get bitches in the West, you get no bitches anywhere else. You have to go to Gambia level shit to buy your way into something. Everybody else is selling you bullshit. This is why I keep telling you, self-improvement. You want a real litmus test on your attraction? Open up Tinder, open up Bumble, open up Hinge, and see how many matches you get. Put your best pictures on there. If you can't match decently looking women, you're priced out of the market. That's your real value in a woman's eyes. That's like the truest litmus test for how women perceive you, purely based on attraction. Nature speaking. It doesn't get more real than that. Now, if you're able to do well back home in the West and get women, but you're sick of the mentality, sick of the hyper feminazi attitude, the constant what I bring to the table, the masculine mentality, doesn't want a family, has a rap sheet body count of hundreds. You know, we know the type. They're over on Fresh and Fit. Got O fans, they got all that shit. And you want to get away from that and have something more traditional, you will absolutely crush it in the rest of the world. If you're able to do well in the West and then you go somewhere else because you want traditionalism, you will do fine, man. If anything, way better, actually. Because if you could pull 7s, 8s, 9s in the West, the women that you're pulling out in Eastern Europe, out in Southeast Asia are going to be absolute stunners. Stunners that will treat you better. And this is the most valuable part of all, that will treat you better than any woman in the West could. That will treat you better than you could ever imagine. I mean, we're talking like great grandma level, will cook for you, house will be clean, wants children, lets the man lead, all the things you hear about what feminine energy is. They'll have it in abundance. But if you're a fucking loser in the West, if you're fat, you don't take care of yourself, you fucking play video games all day, you have no ambition, you make no money, disgusting in general to women, you're not going to do well anywhere else, man. It is what it is. Fortunately, everything I'm listing can literally be changed through behavior, through self-improvement. A lot of guys are in the holes that they're in is self-inflicted because they don't work on themselves, which is failing the shit test of gynocracy, because the system wants you to extinguish your bloodline. The system wants you to end all the weak men. And you exiting the game and not dealing with women at all is essentially the failed shit test. Your bloodline dies there, your weakness goes with it, and society should get a little stronger and stronger as we cull the weakest ones in society. You know, that's what they really want. Or I should say that's the real effect going on here when you say you're going your own way. Going your own way should be a rejection of mainstream society and a return to traditionalism and classical morals, the nuclear family. That's what going your own way should be, because the mainstream is pushing degeneracy, hedonism, hypersexualization, hookup culture, rampant body counts, fans and all this crazy shit, selling out yourself, becoming a commodity, nothing but dollar signs attached to a person's forehead. A rejection of that, going your own way, truly means to throw all that aside and go back to a family under God, man and woman, with children, with the morals and ideals therein. Not saying, I'm not going to date more women anymore. I'd rather be playing video games and jacking off all day. Congratulations, dude. You're still consuming. You're a slave. You're consuming.
So again, it's that 2-point jump, and they were not obese, had some style or a particular look. They were not broke. They were not autists. They were able to talk to girls. At least they had the fundamentals down. They also invested in having a plan. They used different ways to meet the women. They did have a good understanding of the different ways you can about that. Maybe it's online dating, having a good Tinder profile. Maybe it's about creating a very good social circle. Maybe it's hitting the clubs at night, the bars and clubs, and actually excelling in that environment. Or they set up their lifestyle to actually, the women in their daily routine, going to and hanging out at the cafe. They were able to do that cold approach without resorting to paid dates.
Cold approach is king in Eastern Europe. Women love to be pursued in that fashion by men, straight up. They're still very feminine in nature, and they consider that an extremely attractive trait in men. To go up, to compliment a woman, and to ask for her number or take her out on a date works very, very well in Eastern Europe. And that gives you probably the highest chance of success rate because your personality is able to come out, your body language, everything. The interaction is organic, nothing is forced. And people here still appreciate that kind of connection. And the people are still, especially women, very welcoming, open to have a conversation with you. Doesn't have that invisible bitch shield up, has manners, and is open-minded to your approach in general. And if they're not into you, you're not going to get an insane rejection. They'll just be very kind and polite and just say, not into it. Thank you so much, though. You're very sweet. That's it.
Which is what marriage agencies or matchmakers, because the value of those dates is very low in general, nor were they walking around the shopping mall for 8 hours, stopping all the girls that they could see, because that is very unlikely with 9s and 10s women options. And it is a monumental investment of time for such a low return. So they were not doing any of that malarkey either. So in conclusion, can you come to Eastern Europe for, let's say, 3 months a year and start dating the 9s and 10s, the hottest women in the region? The short answer is yes, with a few caveats. You need a plan in order to do that. And I am the man with the plan. That is what I help my clients.
All right, so he's just selling his course after. The real answer is no. You can't come out to Eastern Europe and date 9s and 10s just being there for 3 months. Those girls are not looking to get passed around unless you straight up pay for it. You can go there and date 9s and 10s, but you're paying for it if you're going to be there for only 3 months. If you actually live there for a significant amount of time and can build a real relationship with a woman and eventually marry her, have kids, all that, yes, she will let you in and you can get a 9 or a 10, assuming you have all the prerequisites. Yes. No, you're not going to travel and get a real traditional woman for 3 months out of the year, bro. That just sounds dumb as shit. Common sense, boys. We need some of it. And that applies to almost every single country you go to, if not all of them. No, literally all of them. You can't name a single country where you can go for 3 months out of the year and expect to get a, quote, good woman to take you seriously. It sounds fucking stupid. So yes, go pay for fucking coaches, courses, the secrets to getting laid and all this bullshit. Get fucking played out of all your money and get zero results along the way. You'll never replace the hard work and the self-investment you have to do to attract organically these kinds of women. There is no magic fucking trick, no magic pill of just taking a plane flight to somewhere else and then all your woes disappear. Nope. Hate to break it to you, boys, but if you don't put in the self-work, you're never getting the results you want. Period. Anywhere you go. And this applies for everything in life, whether it's your body, whether it's your intelligence, whether it's your job, whether it's for the salary you make, the woman you're dating, so on and so on. You don't get to skip the line. You're a man. You have to work your way to the front. And we'll see you on the next one.